Part B then asks us to use the equation to work out x. So now we have to we've got two choices, really, because we can't, well, we've got three choices. We can factorise, we could complete the square, or we could use the formula. Now, completing the square is really difficult on this one because I've not got an x squared. So that leaves us with two choices. I can either try and factorise it, or I can try and use the formula. And really, there's negatives on both of these. This is a hard factorising because I've got 36x squared, and it's a hard formula one because I've not got a calculator. I'm going to show you how to do it both ways though. If we were to factorise, we're looking for two numbers that times to make 36 to decide what goes here and here. And that would either be 6 and 6, 9 and 4, 12 and 3, or 36 and 1. There are others. Are there others? Yeah, 2 and 18, there's loads. And most of you tried to do 6 and 6. But 6 and 6 is very unlikely to work because that's what we had to start with, and then we tweaked it. We took this 5x extra away. So it's unlikely to still be 6x and 6x. So I'm going to try another one. And the next one on my list is 9 and 4. So if I have 9x and 4x, what do we do next? Well, we have to look for two numbers that times to make 25, and 25 is a square number, so it's either 25 and 1 or 5 and 5. If it was 25 and 1, we'd either have to times there'd either be a 25 there or a 25 here. If there was 25 here, that would give me 109, and I can't get 65 from that. So is the 25 here? Well, that will give me 9 25s, which is 225, and 4. That's even further away to 65 than the other one. So it can't be 25 and 1. It must be 5 and 5. And that's good for us because that then means we don't have to decide which way round to put them. What we do have to decide though are what are the signs. And because I've got a positive 25 but a negative number here, that means both of my signs have to be negative. So, does this work? Will this give me 65 x's? Well, I'm going to get 45 x's from there, or negative 45 x's from there, and I'm going to get a negative 20 x's from there, and if we combine them together we do get 65 x's. So that's the correct factorisation. That's right now. How do we get our answers from that? Well, we've got two brackets timing together to give me 0, so either the first bracket 0 or the second bracket 0. And if we solve this, I can add 5 to this side, add 5 to both sides, which will give me that 9x equals 5, and divide by 5 to give me that x equals 5 over 9. Or if I do the same thing over on this side, if I add on 5, I get 4x equals 5. And divide by 4 this time. Gives me that x equals 5 over 4. So, I've got two possible answers, which in normal situation, in quadratics, that's meant to happen. But it says work out the value of x. It doesn't say values, it says value. So what's up with these? Why aren't both of them right? And the reason they're not both right is because we have to go back and look at the triangle. So I had 5/9 or 5/4. And if we substitute those numbers into here, 6 times 5/9 is equal to 30/9, which is 3 1/3. And if this was 3 1/3, if I took away 5, I'd get a negative number, I'd get a negative length. Negative something. So that can't possibly be okay. I'm not allowed that number, whereas here, because I'm doing 1 1/4 lots of it, that's definitely going to be bigger than 6. So if I take away 5, that one's fine. Okay, so the only answer that one's not allowed. The only answer is that x equals 5/4. Okay, now I did say that I'd do this as the formula version as well. If you want to use the formula instead, you can. So I'm just going to go through how to use the formula. So if you're wanting to use the formula for this question, the first thing you always do is write down A, B and C. So A here is 36, B is negative 65 and C is 25. And the formula is that x equals minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, all divided by, including the minus b, remember to divide by the minus b, all divided by 2a. So if we put on our values into that formula, we will get that x equals minus b, so we've got minus 65, so that's positive 65, that sign always changes, plus or minus the square root of b squared, so minus 65 squared. But that's going to be the same as 65 squared, so I'm just going to write 65 squared here. Minus 4 times a, which is 36, times c, which is 25. So already this is looking like a horrible, horrible question. We're not going to want to do this. But if it's the method you've chosen, it will work. You've just got to square these numbers. All divided by 2a, which is 2 lots of 36, so 72. Now actually, you got a mark for this. You got a mark for writing that down. So even though I'm saying it's horrible, you can get method marks even if you don't get to the end. So we need to work out 65 times 65, which I don't know, so I'm going to work it out. So 5 5s are 25, 6 5s are 30, so I've got 325 there. 6 5s are 30, 6 6s are 36, so I've got 39 there. So that's 5, 2, 12, so 4225. So x equals 65 plus or minus the square root of 4,225. I think I missed a minus sign somewhere, have I? Nope. Okay. Minus 4 times 36 times 25. That's not as hard because 4 times 25, because I can do it in any order. If I change the order, 4 times 25 times 36, 4 times 25 is 100. So 100 times 36 is 3600 or 3600. So that's not as bad. Still all divided later by 72. Just move that out of the way. Put it somewhere else. Okay. So what is 4,225 minus 3,600? What are we going to get? 625. So plus or minus the square root of 625. But we have to know, or you have to know, the square root of 625. Now I know the square root of 625. I know that it's 25. Anything ending in a 5, if it's a square root, the number ends in a 5. Okay, so like how the square root of 25 is 5. If you've got a number that ends in a 5, it will be something to do with the square root of, so it will be the square root of 5, or the square root of 15, or the square root of 25, or the square root of 35. So if you didn't know the answer to this, your best bet is to square 15, work out 15 squared, and see what the answer is. 15 squared is 225. So that's too small. But you can see it ends in 25. So if we tried 25 times 25, that's going to be 25, that's 10, 11, 12, plus 20 times, that's going to be 500. So you can see we get 625 there. So the square root of 65 is 25. And that's how you would go about finding it out if you didn't know. Which you're probably not going to know, because you're not meant to. So, this answer to this is 25. So if I now say that x equals 65 plus or minus 25, whoops, 25 divided by 72. Well, let's split it up now. X is either 65 plus 25 divided by 72, or x is 65 minus 25 divided by 72. These are two fractions. 65 plus 25 is 65, 75, 85, 90 over 72. And 65 minus 25 is 40 over 72. Those fractions simplify. I can halve it. I can not halve it again, but I can divide by 3. 45 goes into 3. And that's 12. That divides by 3 as well. So if I divide top and bottom by 3, I'm going to get 5 on the top and 4 on the bottom. So that is one answer. 5 over 4. And 40 over 72. Again, divide by 2, 20 over 36, divide by 2 again, 10 over 18, divide by 2 again, give me 5 over 9. So my other answer is x equals 5 over 9, but if you were listening before, we explained why that wasn't an okay answer, and why this is your only answer.